It's kind of hard to ignore this growing worry globally about fresh water, finding enough clean water.
Oh, absolutely.
It really gets you thinking about, well, new solutions, doesn't it?
It really does.
And one idea that keeps popping up more and more is these atmospheric water generators, AWGs.
It's a fascinating concept, really, when you think
Yeah,
about it. I
yeah.
mean, actually pulling moisture just straight out of the air around us
Right.
and turning it into safe, drinkable water.
Wow.
Especially, if you're somewhere arid or maybe a place with just limited access to clean water sources, that's potentially life-changing.
Absolutely. And look, this isn't some tiny niche thing anymore.
No, not at all.
Just last year, 2023, the market for these AWGs, it was valued over 2.5 billion US dollars.
A billion, yeah.
And here's the kicker projections. They show it more than doubling by 2032,
Doubly.
hitting over 5 billion. That's a compound annual growth rate of almost 10%.
Mm-hmm. That kind of momentum, well, it tells you this technology is really finding its feet.
It really is.
That level of growth, it shows there's real confidence in AWGs,
Yeah,
the workable solution to a very real problem.
exactly.
And that's why we figured, it'd be useful to take a look at who the key players actually are in this growing field.
Yeah, it gives you a better picture.
Right. Where's the innovation happening? Who's leading the charge?
Precisely. So, for this deep dive, we've gone through a recent market analysis, trying to pull out the key stuff.
Hmm.
The top companies in the AWG space, what makes them tick. Think of it as like your shortcut to understanding the sector.
Good way to put it.
And the analysis we use, it even laid out how these companies are judged. The things like their tech, innovation,
Yeah, the core technology.
product variety, how much things cost to run, energy use, that's a big one, obviously.
Sure, yeah.
Their market presence, how widespread they are, customer reviews,
What people are actually saying.
and of course, meeting regulations, all the safety standards.
Those are definitely all the critical angles.
Yeah.
A company might have amazing tech. Right. But if it costs a fortune to run or doesn't meet safety rules,
Yeah.
its impact is going to be limited.
True.
You really need that whole picture, looking through all those criteria to get a proper understanding.
Okay, so let's dig into it. The main players. According to this analysis, there are 5 companies really out front right now.
Mm-hmm. Leading the pack.
In terms of manufacturing these AWG systems, they're the top dogs based on market share.
Right. And it's pretty interesting to see how that share is actually split up. Gives you a real feel for the competitive scene.
Okay, so the top 5, identified in the report, Akvo Atmospheric Water Systems,
Akvo. Right.
2 Point Manufacturing,
Dew Point, okay.
Agua, WaterMaker India, and Planet's Water.
Got him. Akvo, Dew Point, Agua, WaterMaker India, Planet's Water.
And just to paint a picture of where they stand market share-wise, Aqua's got about 19%.
19, okay.
Dew Point has a bit more, around 20%.
So they're slightly ahead. Correct.
Agua, 11%. WaterMaker India is at 9%. And Planet's Water holds 15%.
Okay, so those numbers, they show that, yeah, Dew Point has a small lead.
Right.
But it's actually a pretty crowded field at the top, several strong contenders.
Definitely.
Now, what's really useful, I think, is digging into the unique angle each one takes. Their focus.
Totally agree. Let's start with Akvo Atmospheric Water Systems.
Fine.
The analysis highlights their real push for innovative ways to get that clean drinking water from the air.
Innovation focus, right.
They're trying to blend advanced tech with sustainable practices using what the report called contemporary cooling condensation techniques.
Sounds technical, but it's basically like dew forming, right? Cooling the air efficiently.
Exactly, like a modern fridge, but for water vapor. Plus, Akvo seems big on customizing systems
Tailoring them.
for different needs and really hammering home energy efficiency.
That blend innovation and sustainability, it's just so important here.
Seems critical.
Especially the energy part. That hits the running costs, the environmental impact,
For sure.
And being able to tailor solutions, whether it's for one home or a huge factory, that really opens up their market potential.
Makes sense. Okay, next up, Dew Point Manufacturing.
Dew Point, the current market share leader, just slightly.
Right. Their main thing seems to be innovative solutions for both homes and businesses, residential and commercial.
Okay, broad approach.
They also use modern, energy-efficient cooling and condensation methods, and the report specifically called out reliability and ease of use.
Reliability and user-friendliness. That's massive for getting people to actually use these things widely.
You'd think so,
I
yeah.
mean, if it's too fiddly or breaks down all the time, it just won't catch on, especially for homes or small companies.
Right.
So that dual focus, residential and commercial, suggests they're aiming pretty broadly.
Then there's Agua.
Agua, okay.
They position themselves as like a cutting-edge water tech company. Goal is sustainable solutions.
Sustainability again.
Yeah.
A common theme.
Yeah. They design advanced AWGs for, well, pretty much everyone, homes, businesses, even industrial scale.
Homes, businesses, industrial.
Okay. And like the others, they're using modern tech to, squeeze as much water out as possible,
Maximize extraction.
while keeping it energy efficient and environmentally sound.
What seems interesting with Agua is that range. Homes to heavy industry.
Yeah, it's broad.
That suggests they must have a pretty deep understanding of very different user needs, different rules maybe.
Good point. Okay, moving to WaterMaker India.
WaterMaker India. The name suggests a regional focus.
Yeah, seems like it. Their commitment is clearly stated, tackling water scarcity with modern tech.
A very direct mission.
They design efficient AWGs for residential, industrial, and interestingly, agricultural use too.
Agricultural, that's different.
Using advanced condensation techniques, and again, big focus on sustainability and energy efficiency.
Water scarcity is such a massive issue in India.
Huge.
So their focus there, and specifically adding agriculture that's really significant, shows how you need to adapt this tech for local needs, local environments.
Absolutely. Okay, last of the top 5. Planet's Water.
Planet's water.
Described as forward-thinking, focused on sustainable solutions for the global water crisis.
Global scope.
They design AWGs using advanced, energy-efficient methods for homes, businesses, and also humanitarian aid.
Humanitarian. That's interesting.
And a deep commitment, the report says, to minimizing their ecological footprint.
That humanitarian angle, it really stands out.
It does.
Suggests maybe a wider vision, not just commercial, recognizing how AWGs could help in disasters or in places that are really underserved.
Yeah, definitely. So you see these top 5, right? Each has a slightly different spin,
Mm-hmm.
their own niche, but all driving at the same core problem: water scarcity using sustainable, efficient AWGs.
Right.
But the report is also clear. This market isn't just sitting still. There are newcomers, emerging players.
Always the case with growing tech sectors.
So these guys could potentially shake things up.
Definitely. Innovation doesn't stop, and new companies often come in with fresh ideas, maybe better tech, that can really challenge the big players. Keeps everyone sharp.
Keeps them on their toes, yeah. So the report names a few: Water Technologies International, Skywater Air Water Machines,
Okay.
Drinkable Air,
Yeah.
Hendrix Water, and Energy and Water Development Corps. That's EAWC.
Right. Quite a list of potential disruptors.
And the analysis gives some reasons why they might be a threat.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Well, it talks about them using revolutionary technology, maybe unique business models.
Okay, so fundamental differences potentially.
And a big one seems to be a focus on cost effectiveness and super high energy efficiency.
Cost and efficiency. We keep coming back to those, don't we?
They seem key.
They're absolutely critical for getting this technology adopted more widely. Cheaper to buy, cheaper to run.
Exactly. Plus, being newer, maybe they're more agile,
Could be.
able to adapt faster to market changes or new tech breakthroughs.
That agility, yeah, can be a huge plus. Smaller, newer firms often don't have the same baggage, legacy systems.
Right.
That can slow down the bigger guys. They can pivot, integrate new stuff faster sometimes.
And like the leaders, sustainability is still a core principle for these emerging companies, too.
Seems to be table stakes in this market now. You have to be thinking sustainably.
So this analysis also offered some advice, guidelines, really.
For new companies trying to break in.
Yeah, or even existing ones wanting to stay ahead. And a key point was the growing awareness around hygiene and water quality.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
Think about it. People are more health conscious than ever. The purity of the water these machines make, that becomes a huge selling point.
Right. So the report suggests companies need to really shout about the purity, the filtration systems they use.
Be specific.
Like explain their multi-stage filters, mention UV sterilization if they have it. That stuff builds confidence.
Absolutely. Transparency is key. Show the proof. If you can clearly demonstrate, maybe with tests, certifications, that the water is consistently clean.
That's powerful.
Very powerful message.
And how they market it matters, too. The report said, focus on the direct health benefits.
Makes sense.
Especially in places where waterborne diseases are a real risk or clean water isn't guaranteed. It's a message that hits home.
It really does. Addressing those health worries directly, positioning the AWG as the solution for safe drinking water. That taps into a real urgent need.
Hmm.
And again, providing that verifiable proof of quality just makes the case stronger.
And it's not just marketing talk. The report also recommended offering customizable solutions,
How so?
like tailoring the system to meet specific hygiene standards depending on where it's used.
Ah, okay. Like a hospital needing higher standards than maybe a home.
Exactly. Or an industrial facility might have different needs again. Shows you understand the nuances.
That's actually a very sharp point. Different uses do have different needs, different regulations sometimes.
Right.
Being able to customize the purification system adds real value. Shows you've really thought about the market.
And one last piece, education.
Educating customers.
Yeah. The report suggests companies need to actively teach people why water hygiene is so important
Okay.
and how AWGs can be a reliable way to get that safe water.
Education creates informed buyers,
I
right?
suppose so.
If you explain the why behind the tech, the benefits for health, people understand the value better. They're not just buying a machine, they're buying, peace of mind.
Yeah, peace of mind, a good way to put it. So it really sounds like for any company wanting to succeed here,
Mm.
it's about delivering pure water, having
Mhm.
solid tech, being open about it, and, well, teaching people why it matters.
That sums it up pretty well. And zooming back out, the report confirms that big growth projection we mentioned.
Right, the 5.2 billion by 2032.
Exactly. And the drivers are clear. Worsening water scarcity,
Sure.
people caring more about water hygiene,
Check.
the technology itself just getting better, more
Yeah.
efficient,
Mm.
and maybe more government support or investment down the line.
It definitely paints a picture of a really dynamic field. It's moving fast.
It is.
You've got the established leaders, holding their ground,
Mm.
but then these hungry newcomers pushing innovation.
Yeah, trying to grab a piece of the pie.
And that constant push to make the tech cheaper, greener, cleaner,
Yeah.
it's only going to get more intense, you'd think.
Which, it raises a really interesting question to think about.
Oh, yeah.
With all these different approaches we've seen, the established versus the new tech, the different target markets, homes, industry, aid,
Right?
and just how fast things are changing.
Yeah.
What do you think the long-term impact might be for how we all get water globally?
Yeah, that's a big question. I mean, obviously, it could be huge for places already struggling with water.
For sure.
But what about areas we currently think of as water secure? Could AWGs become more common even there, maybe as a backup, or for guaranteed purity?
Exactly. Could it shift things even where scarcity isn't the main driver today?
It's definitely something to mull over, a space to keep a close eye on, for sure.